Today is May 19th, 2009. I have seen a great many people come and go. One day they're here, and the next day they're gone. At this point, I have watched almost all of the elders of my family pass. It is my opinion that if there is a spirit or a soul in man, that spirit isn't available without the body. At least if there were a spirit without a body, it would not be the same person that we knew. What is the purpose of this life? And why are we here? I've considered those questions for a long time, in fact, probably most of my life. I think the first time I really felt concerned about such things was when my grandfather, Joe, died. I had a telescope that I had gotten for Christmas that year, and I gazed up into the heavens and I wanted to see the moon. Easy to see the moon as it was with the telescope. I didn't quite feel like I was right there. Turned my little telescope out toward Jupiter, and all I could see was a small blob of light, a bit larger in the lens than it was to the naked eye. No details. And so I went to my room and I calculated how long it would take me to get to the moon if there were a highway to the moon, and I drove at the speed limit of 70 miles an hour. And it was a long time. And I thought, wow, what if they built a highway to Jupiter? And I realized I could never get to Jupiter in my entire lifetime. And I think that was the birth of something inside of me that asked, how far can a man go? What can a man do? What is the dimension of humanity? Since then, I've felt that much has been wasted. I've looked at our efforts, and I felt them to be in vain. I'd like to see us flying those spaceships to different planets, finding out answers to questions that we don't know now. Anyway, as I sat with my calculations at the age of 12, this constant thought of death was upon me. My death would happen, but how could that be? Where did I die to? I came from someplace, so if I came from somewhere, did I die to that place I came from? There's never been a really satisfactory answer, regardless of what religions have had to say, and I've studied quite a few. For example, if I were a blind man my entire life, and I came back to life from the dead, made whole, now could see, somebody handed me an orange, would I know what it was? You know, in reality, when they do that sort of thing, restore a man's sight, and they show him an orange, he won't know what it is. He'll have to pick it up and touch it and feel it. Little by little, the ability for him to understand what he's seeing develops. And those kinds of blank spaces about who I would be if I came back in a paradise full of little angels, or if I came back in for the deeds I've done wrong was somehow thrust into hell, who would be punished? I want to let you ponder that yourself. As for me, I've wondered it, and I've thought about it. And over in my mind, there comes a picture of the universe. And the understanding of the universe that we've had in this generation since I was born, it has expanded immensely. The reality of the universe is that it is far more immense than anyone ever supposed when I was born. It is not even at all what most people suppose it is today. And I want to clarify that. When they first trained telescopes out at the stars, they pretty much thought that the galaxy that we live in was the universe. And then, oops, they found out there were other galaxies. Holy cow, how far away were those galaxies? What kind of place is this that we're living in? This universe, is it infinite? Does it have boundaries? No one would know. They launched a satellite into space recently, and it was designed to peer out at the edge of what they can see, thinking perhaps that some of what we're seeing is a reflection of the universe turning inward on itself. In other words, we would be seeing duplicate galaxies and duplicate Earths, and somehow if we looked far enough in that direction, which could be nearly any direction, we would see the beginning of everything. They discovered that no, that's not what happens. When we see things and know things now that are amazing. For example, Einstein and the theory of relativity. According to general relativity, it's my understanding that nothing can exceed the speed of light. Matter isn't supposed to exceed the speed of light. Scientists today tell us that the universe is 14 or 15 billion, somewhere in that range old. Now, the universe were nothing more than matter, and that matter were traveling as fast as matter could go, then the width of the universe should be around 13, 14, 15 billion light years across. It's not. It's 160 some billion, best guess, that they have. Why? How does it suddenly expand 10 times faster than the speed of light? It's because of special relativity. Special relativity implies that space itself is expanding. Space, that stuff that's supposed to be nothing, it's actually something. They tell us that our universe, the one we look at every night, that's about 5% of what the original Big Bang universe was made of. Splitting off and, becoming separate pieces of things that formed into stars. Little particles that compressed and over time made stars, and those stars burned hot. And when they supernovaed, they made heavier elements, carbon and iron and uranium, sulfur and nitrogen and oxygen. Stars, trillions, billions of stars growing, dying, exploding over a period of time when there were no humans here to watch the universe. Today we watch. And if we were to live another billion or 2 billion years, if people could do that, they would notice something. They would notice little pieces of the sky disappear. The lights in the sky would suddenly start disappearing. The galaxies we see today would vanish. Why? Because the universe is expanding, and the light from those galaxies, subject to general relativity, will not be able to reach us and show us the state of that galaxy. Why? Because it's going and moving away from us faster than light. So you feel what it's like, huh? To wonder about heaven and hell and how long life would last. And here you are, me, you, going to live to be 70, 100, 170. If you were lucky and lived to be 1,000, your brain would be full. Contrary to popular belief, we are not using just a small percentage of our brain. No. Contrary to popular belief, we're using a pretty good percentage of our brain. And it's got a limit. It's not made to hold all the information in the world. Best guess is if you could cram everything into the human mind, it would only hold as much as perhaps the Library of Congress does today. Boy, how are we humans going to step out there among the stars and understand what's going on? We're pretty much insignificant if you look at it. Took billions of stars blowing up, exploding, a star bigger than our current star that we orbit, blew up. Trust me, it went kapow and blew up. And then there was a great cloud from that big supernova, full of elements, iron, uranium, oxygen, elements. And those elements formed our star, our planet. Everything that we have now came from the death of stars. We are stardust. That's pretty fantastic, I think. It's pretty fantastic to be that kind of creature, made from stardust.